Once every 75 years, a comet called Charlotte passes near the Earth and rains down a mysterious dust that infects only teenagers, giving them supernatural abilities. Yu was one of those gifted teens living a peaceful life until the day scientists dragged his older brother for experiments, forcing Yu to wipe him from his own memory just to survive the trauma. Eventually, Yu discovers his ability is far more overpowered than he ever imagined, as it's a power capable of stealing every supernatural ability on Earth. In the present, Yu is the top student in his entire school and a genius nobody can beat. During the entrance ceremony, Yu quickly attracts everyone's attention with his good looks. On his very first day at the school, a girl walks up to him and asks if he wants to be friends. However, Yu turns her down, explaining that he has to spend so much time studying to keep up his grades that he barely even gets enough sleep. It turns out that everything is actually a lie because Yu does not want to date a commoner like her. Instead, the girl he is truly interested in is the Madonna of Hinamori High School named Yumi. One day, Yu uses his power to make a truck suddenly speed toward Yumi while she is crossing the street with one of her friends. To make himself look like a hero, he quickly pushes Yumi out of the way and saves her from getting hit. After Yumi gets a small injury bandaged, she thanks him and asks him to go eat pancakes with her. When they finish eating pancakes together, Yumi asks if he would like to go out with her again sometime after school. Since Yu is very eager to get closer to her, he quickly agrees and says he would love to. The next day, Yu is called into the student council room again, where the student council president accuses him of cheating on an exam because he got a perfect score. The president then orders him to sit down and retake the test, saying that if he can score above 90% again, it will prove that he did not cheat on the previous exam. During the test, Yu uses his ability to possess the president and tries to look at the answer sheet he is holding. However, he soon finds out that it is not an answer sheet at all and is actually a weird comic book. At that moment, a girl named Tamori suddenly appears and starts recording him from up close while revealing that she is the real student council president. She explains that Yu has been using his powers to cheat on exams and claims that she has many more recordings to prove it. Furious after hearing this, Yu runs out of the school and tries to head back home. However, a boy with Tamori chases after him and uses his own ability to eventually catch him. Soon after that, Tamori arrives and explains that there are many other people in the world who have superpowers just like him. She also mentions that those powers are a disease that only lasts through puberty and will one day leave him. Tamori explains that she wants Yu to attend Star Ocean Academy until his powers eventually disappear. Hearing this, Yu gets angry and tries to punch her, but Tamori uses her invisibility ability and easily beats him up, turning him into a punching bag. After that, she tells him that his powers can be useful in helping them stop other people who misuse their abilities just like he does. That night, Yu returns home, where his younger sister tells him that she has received scholarships to attend both the middle school and high school divisions of Star Ocean Academy. She is surprisingly excited about transferring to the new school, which catches Yu off guard. She then serves him omelette rice, the same meal she has made for him countless times before. While they are eating dinner, Yu's sister mentions their mother's name, which immediately upsets him, and he tells her never to bring up their mother again. Later that night, his sister spends time looking at the stars through a telescope because of her interest in astronomy. Yu then points out that if she talks about stars all the time, she might have trouble making new friends at her new school. The next day, Yu and his sister move into a new apartment that is not only very big but also looks quite advanced. In the evening, Yu meets Yumi and tells her that he is going to transfer to Star Ocean Academy, which really surprises her. He also tells her that she can come visit him sometimes, but because the place is too far away, she thinks it is not a good idea. After that, Yumi says that they are not going to start dating yet and that if she follows him to his new life, it would just make her look like a stalker. Before leaving, Yumi finally says goodbye and walks away from him for good, which leaves Yu shocked and silent for a while. Later that night, Tamori and Jujuru visit Yu to help him with moving into the new apartment. After they finish helping him, they decide to leave. Ayumi and Yu eat their usual omelette rice dinner together. While they are eating, Yu learns about a song called How Low Hello, which is sung by Yusa Nishimori. Before heading to bed, Ayumi suggests that they should walk to school together, but Yu thinks that everyone will think he is a freak. After that, a vision appears showing a young Yu and Ayumi walking alongside a boy Yu does not recognize. The next day is Yu's first day at his new school, and he is curious if everyone there has supernatural powers. Jujuru tells him that most students have only shown small signs of abilities or are just believed to possibly develop them later. Tamori then explains that in the past, People with special powers like theirs were taken away and treated like test subjects, almost like guinea pigs. At first, you think she is joking, but when she mentions that it happened to her older brother, he starts to think she is telling the truth. She continues and says that a certain person created the current system to protect people with powers. Tamori also explains that their job is to find people with abilities out in the real world and either secure them before others find them or pressure them into not using their powers. Tamori also tells you that if he helps the student council with their work, he will receive money in return. She points out that he should consider doing it because his sister Ayumi works extremely hard every day. Later on, you discovers that he is in the same class as both Tamori and Jujuru, which immediately ruins his mood. He then learns that Tamori is the student council president despite being only a first-year student. Jujuru explains that the most important part of their role is being able to take action while using their powers responsibly. During lunch, you is surprised to see that he has the same omelet meal that he usually eats at home, so Jujuru decides to take him to the cafeteria instead. The cafeteria is crowded with students, and Jujuru uses his super speed ability to quickly grab sandwiches for both of them. However, he ends up seriously hurting himself in the process, though he tells you not to worry because he is wearing protective armor underneath his school uniform. After they return to the classroom, you keeps looking at Tamori and wonders why she does not seem to have any friends. Jujuru explains that if he had only seen her getting angry and beating people up all the time, he would probably think she was rude as well. Suddenly, Tamori walks towards them and says that she wants them to get to the student council room, where a homeless-looking student shows up whose power is psychic photography. Jujuru explains that he is a collaborator who locates people with powers and identifies their power for them. After that, they head outside and begin investigating. You goes around asking people if they have seen anything unusual recently. Before long, Tamori notices a suspicious man and says that they need to protect the person with powers before anyone else gets involved. The group chases after the man, and Yu uses his ability to possess him, causing him to drop everything he was carrying in his bag. Tamori then searches through the contents and discovers several disturbing pictures of different girls. From this, she realizes that the pictures were created using a power that allows someone to see through other people's clothes. Tamori questions the man about where he got the photos, and he eventually leads them to a student named Udu, who is a member of the school's archery team. Tamori straightaway approaches him and says that nobody thought that the psychic photographer was behind all these dirty pictures. When Tamori asks him why he does that, he says that he needs money and threatens her by taking her picture in underwear and says that he will spread these. Yu uses his powers to take the picture out of his hands, and when he shoots the arrow at Tamori, Jujuru saves her. Once they are done dealing with him, Tamori takes Yu to meet her older brother who is still in the hospital. On their way back, Tamori tells him about her past, saying everything started when her brother developed supernatural powers. It turns out, her brother was a musician who wanted to get a debut on a major record label. The next day, their mother told them that to make the most of their potential, she has decided to send them to boarding school. Upon hearing that, Tamori's older brother gets furious since he is so close to recording his music and he is doing this for the good of their family. However, that day they saw their mother on her knees for the first time, so they had no choice but to accept what she wanted from them. Tamori's new school seemed normal, and she made friends quickly. But she still had to sit through some kind of medical examination every day after school. Despite going to the same school as her brother, she never got to see him. It turns out, every time she tried to look for her brother, her friends would surround her and put a stop to it while her brother was subjected to experiment after experiment. Tamori explains that her brother's ability allowed him to make the air vibrate whenever he wanted. They first discovered his power when he used it to improve the sound of his guitar during a concert. Later, scientists took an interest in his ability and began experimenting on him because they hoped to use it to interfere with broadcast signals. About a year later, Tamori was finally allowed to see her brother again, but he was no longer the same person. His condition had become so bad that he could not even recognize her anymore. It is also revealed that the friends who kept her away from her brother were never real friends at all. They were people sent by the scientists, and they monitored her every day because, as his sister, she had a high chance of developing powers herself. Back in the present, Yu and Tamori arrive at the hospital to visit her brother, who is now acting like a maniac. Tamori explains that this is his own way of playing the guitar, and the two of them decide to take him outside so he can get some fresh air. She then tells you that someone arranged for her brother to stay in a hospital located in the most beautiful place that could be provided for free. That night, Yu returns home, and his sister is happy to hear that he has joined the student council. However, Yu starts worrying that Ayumi could end up suffering a fate similar to Tamori's brother because he has powers, and he fears that someone might eventually come after him as well. The following morning, Ayumi cooks omelette rice again with an excuse that she overslept today. Yu tells her that she doesn't need to make lunch for him anymore because no one in school brings their lunch anymore. However, she still insists that he take the lunch today since she already made it, and Yu agrees. On his way out, he looks at the lunch Ayumi made for him and thinks that it's embarrassing for him to eat something like this in front of people. At school, Jujuru tells Yu that they should go for those limited stock beef tongue curries for lunch, which is going to cheer him up. At lunch, Yu finds Jujuru with that limited stock of beef stuff, but his head is still bleeding since he used his ability to get these fast. When Yu tastes the curry, his mind gets completely lost in the taste of how good it actually is. Jujuru then receives a call from Tamori saying their collaborator is coming soon, so they have to go to the student council office. At the student council office, the collaborator arrives, and Yu asks Jujuru why he is always soaking wet. Jujuru explains that the man's power only works when he completely drenches himself while still wearing his clothes, making it a very inconvenient ability to use. The collaborator then explains that the person they are investigating this time has an ability called channeling, which allows them to communicate with the deceased. He also reveals that there is another individual involved who possesses a pyrokinesis ability, which can be used to set objects or even people on fire. Hearing this, the group is shocked to learn that someone appears to have two different powers at the same time, and that person is currently moving around somewhere in the area. After that, the group heads out to investigate and track down the individual. While searching, Tamori quickly notices signs that someone recently ran through a nearby alley and even crashed into a box along the way. However, this makes her realize that the person may have been running from someone rather than simply moving around. Because of this possibility, the group decides to question people nearby to see if anyone has noticed anything unusual. A woman tells them that there was an idol being chased by someone, so she thought it was for a movie, and her name is Nishimori Yusa. Yu quickly realizes that she's the idol that his sister Ayumi likes, and turns out, Jujuru is even bigger fan than her. While looking around, Tamori finds someone and tries to go after him, but the person just punches him in the head. Yu and Jujuru then manage to catch that guy using their abilities. Since the guy doesn't know anything apart from that some people are looking for Nishimori Yusa, they call an ambulance for him. Just then, a red-haired guy appears and leads the trio to meet Nishimori Yusa, who is staying in a strange hideout. Once they arrive, Tamori begins looking into Yusa's situation and starts asking her a number of questions. Yusa explains that she has recently been falling asleep without warning and waking up in completely different places. Because of this, doctors believe that she may have multiple personalities. However, Tamori tells everyone in the room that Yusa does not have multiple personalities at all and instead possesses a supernatural power just like they do. She explains that Yusa has the ability to channel the spirits of the dead into her body, which is why she can summon the girl they call Misa. Hearing this, Yusa is shocked by the explanation, and the others reveal that Misa is actually Yusa's older sister, who died in an accident years ago. Moments later, Misa's spirit takes control of Yusa's body and immediately punches one of the guys for bringing up the subject. After that, Misa uses her power to set the hideout on fire, but she quickly makes the flames disappear just as suddenly as they appeared. Tamori then asks what kind of relationship she has with the people in the room, and Misa explains that they were her friends from the streets back when she was still alive. Furthermore, Tamori asks her if she knows why her sister is being targeted like that, and a guy says that it's all because Yusa accidentally took a phone home after a day on the set. It turns out, the phone belongs to some big-shot TV producer, and when they read some texts on the phone, they found out about his reckless spending and shady dealings. Tamori figures out that it's too late to return the phone now, and if they go to the police something worse is going to happen. Tamori then tells Yusa that if she cooperates with them, they can help her get revenge for what happened to her sister. After agreeing to help, Yusa soon wakes up in her normal state and wonders if she had fallen asleep again. That night, as part of their plan, Yusa calls the producer and tells him that she wants to return his phone. Once everyone arrives at the meeting location, the two boys accompanying Yusa quickly take down the producer's guards. Yusa then steps forward and asks whether this incident will put her in an even worse position. The producer coldly replies that her career has already been ruined. Hearing those words, Misa takes control of Yusa's body and uses her fire ability to burn one of the men nearby in order to frighten the producer. She then continues throwing flames at every person present except for the producer himself while threatening him. After making her point, Misa returns the producer's phone and warns him that she will not be so forgiving if there is a next time. It is then revealed that the people she had been attacking with her flames were not actually the producer's guards. Instead, they were Jujuru, and the two boys who had been helping with the plan all along. Later, Tamori tells Misa that Yusa should transfer to Star Ocean Academy, because there is a risk that scientists could find her and perform experiments on her. She explains that the school and its connected apartment buildings are the safest place in all of Japan for someone with special powers. Misa quickly agrees because she believes it is the best way to keep Yusa safe. However, the boys are saddened by the decision because they know that once Yusa's power disappears, they will no longer be able to talk to Misa again. Sho then becomes emotional and starts tearing up before finally confessing his feelings to Misa one last time. In response, Misa tells him to stop worrying about her and to move forward with his own life starting from tomorrow. The next morning, Yu wakes up and finds his sister Ayumi making French toast, but it is completely red in color. At school, the whole class is excited and going wild because Yusa is going to join their class soon. When Yusa finally arrives, everyone starts cheering and even dancing, and Yu wonders if her user in idol style will follow her everywhere. Since the collaborator is expected to arrive soon, Tamori tells Yusa to come to the student council office right away. At the office, Jujuru begins acting strangely in front of Yusa, saying that he really liked the way she used her magic charm earlier, which surprises Yusa because she has no idea how much he already knows about her situation. When the collaborator shows up soaking in water, Yusa gets surprised and even starts shivering. The collaborator then checks the location and informs them that there is someone with power of telekinesis at a certain location. Tamori figures out that the location is Kanai Academy, and she believes the person responsible is a baseball pitcher named Arifumi Fukuyama. Tamori then shows the others some footage and explains that knuckleballs need to be thrown with as little spin as possible in order to create their unpredictable movement. Jujuru then also realizes that the player must be using telekinesis to change the ball's direction after it leaves his hand. Later, the group goes to the baseball field where a match is currently happening. Tamori immediately confronts the player she suspects is using telekinesis to throw his knuckle-like pitches. However, the boy acts innocent and refuses to admit anything. Tamori then warns him that if other people find out about his ability, he will be taken away and will never be allowed to play baseball again. To make him believe, Tamori uses her invisibility ability in front of him, and he gets surprised to see that. Tamori then gets an idea and tells him that they should decide this with a match saying his school's baseball team against theirs. On their way back, Yu asks Tamori if their team can really win against them in baseball since they haven't played before. Tamori says that they can use their superpowers to handle the situation. The next day, everyone gathers on the baseball field for the match, including Yu and the others who are forced to join because of Tamori. The game begins with the opposing team performing well, especially in pitching. At one point, one of the pitchers gets angry at Tamori, but Yusa uses her charm ability to calm him down. As the match continues, Arifumi uses his special ability while pitching, making it extremely difficult for Yu's team to hit the ball. During the game, Misa's natural athletic skills show clearly, and she surprises everyone with her strong defensive plays. As time starts running out, Tamori suggests they should use their superpowers, and she tells Yu to possess their batters so he can make the next two hitters take weak swings. But Yu still wonders if they really need to use his power like that. When the play starts, Yu uses his ability and makes the batters first swing a weak strike. However, on the third try, the catcher steps in and gets to the plate just before the ball arrives on the other side, stopping the play. Then Tamori tells Jujuru to just do a bunt. Jujuru tries to bunt, but he misses his first two tries, so he only has one chance left or he will be out. On his last try, he finally hits it and makes it to first base safely using his fast speed, which surprises everyone. After that, Tamori shows the video she recorded to the referee, and the referee calls him safe. When Misa shows up, she manages to hit a great shot and gets to the other side safely, and now it's Yu and Tamori's turn to prove themselves. Tamori then gets to the mound and jumps to hit a low shot while her teammates get to the bases safely. Now Yu goes to the mound, but he misses two shots in a row badly. On the third attempt, he finally manages to hit a foul shot. After that, Yu keeps hitting foul shots repeatedly, which starts to make the pitcher lose his mind. Because of this, the pitcher decides to use his ability and throws the ball with it as well. The ball goes completely out of control, and Yu runs toward the other side of the field. Even with the chaos, he manages to reach the bases safely, and the game ends with Yu's team winning the match. After the match, Tamori tells Arifumi that he should stop using his power from now on since they have already won. Arifumi replies that he was only an average pitcher, but his catcher Takato is something special, and they have been a battery for a long time. Tamori is happy to hear that Arifumi was not using his power for selfish reasons, but instead for his friend. Then Tamori asks Yu if he can possess her for a test. Yu takes control of her body, but when he wakes up, he finds himself suddenly on her shoulders. That night, Yu returns home hoping his sister has not used pizza sauce in their food again, but to his surprise, she has made cream stew using pizza sauce and he is forced to eat it anyway. The next day, a group of girls approaches Tamori at school and forcefully drags her out of the classroom. Yu decides to follow them and ends up witnessing Tamori being badly beaten by the group. After the bullies finally leave, Yu walks over to Tamori, who asks whether he dislikes the way she handles things. Tamori receives a message informing her that their collaborator will be arriving soon, so the two of them head back to the student council office. When Yusa sees the injuries on Tamori's face and body, she becomes worried and asks what happened. A short while later, the collaborator arrives and announces that the next person they are investigating possesses the ability of levitation, meaning they can fly through the sky. Tamori quickly hands everyone a newspaper article about a flying humanoid that was reportedly seen in Japan some time ago. Tamori notices that the flying person was first spotted in the mountains, so she guesses that he is probably using the area to practice his powers. She believes that if they stay there and keep watch long enough, he will eventually show himself. Before heading up, they stop by a nearby supermarket to gather supplies. Once they finish shopping, Tamori assigns the work, saying that the boys will carry the tents and barbecue equipment while the girls will handle the food supplies. After that, the group hikes up the mountain for several hours before finally arriving at a perfect location to set up camp. After that, everyone starts cooking corn and enjoys spending time together around the camp. Later that night, Yu finds Tamori sitting alone on a large rock while listening to music. Tamori offers him one side of her headphones and explains that she is listening to her brother's favorite band. Furthermore, Tamori decides to give Yu her music player, explaining that she earns plenty of money through her work with the student council and can easily buy another one later. After that, the group returns to their campsite, where Tamori explains how they will handle the night watch. She says that they will sleep in pairs, and while the boys are sleeping, the girls will stay awake and keep watch until morning. After that, they will switch roles. Yusa then heads off to take a bath, while the boys are expected to use the bath later that night. While bathing, Yu notices that Jujuru looks much less muscular than he usually does while wearing his school uniform. Jujuru explains that his ability causes him to take a lot of physical punishment, and no matter how much protective armor he wears under his uniform, having a strong and durable body is still important. The following day, a guy approaches them asking what they are doing here. Tamori tells him that they plan on living here forever, since no one will find them here. The guy tries to call the police, but Tamori says that they will arrest him too because this is private property. Tamori also reveals that they are actually there to find the flying person, whom she believes is him. However, the boy keeps making excuses and claims that he is only there to collect chestnuts, even though it is not the right season for them. When he suddenly jumps forward to grab Tamori's camera, he accidentally falls into a trap that she had prepared earlier. Despite that, he uses his flying ability to rise back out of the trap, and Tamori quickly records everything with her camera. Afterward, the boy snatches the camera from her and flies high into the air in an attempt to escape. Yu then uses his power to possess him, forcing him to come back down and land on the ground. After listening to them, the boy eventually agrees not to use his powers anymore, and the group finally returns home. Yu is happy to discover that his sister has prepared noodles loaded with vegetables for dinner, and he enjoys the meal. The next morning, Ayumi feels bad because she could not make breakfast for Yu since she is sick, and she also has to take a leave from school. At school, the collaborator announces that the next person they are searching for has a collapse ability, which Yu finds strange. Tamori explains that it likely means the person can make things fall apart, and Yu thinks it sounds even more unsettling since the power is not simply called destruction. However, Tamori finds it unusual that someone with such an ability would be inside the apartments at this time of day. Tamori immediately notices that Yu's expression changes and asks him to explain everything. Yu tells them that his sister is currently in bed with a fever. Tamori then says that siblings often have a higher chance of developing similar abilities. But if they take Jujuru, then he will ruin the moment. He tries using his ability to make him jump out of the window, but Tamori notices that and pushes Jujuru herself. After school, The trio decides to go see Ayumi, and on their way, they talk about getting something to eat. Yu says that it would be nicer if the two of them eat something good at home instead. Yusa says it would be better if everyone eats together, since she does not live with her parents and would just end up eating alone at home anyway. Yu then thinks about how Tamori once swore that she would never trust anyone again, and he remembers that it all happened because her own mother had betrayed her and sold her out to the scientists. After buying a lot of snacks and drinks, the trio heads to Yu's house. Inside the house, Yu finds Ayumi's school friends already there, and they politely introduce themselves to him one by one. Tamori and Yusa come into the room. Even though Yusa is still wearing a mask, Ayumi immediately recognizes her from a distance and suddenly gets a strange nosebleed again. But Yusa receives a call from her workplace and has to leave right away. Seeing this, Ayumi starts to think that the two of them might actually be a couple and finds their arguing strangely cute. After that, Yu and Tamori give Ayumi some medicine before she eventually falls asleep. Outside, Tamori tells you to ask Ayumi more details about the dream, since it could be important for solving the mystery of the collapse ability. The next day, Yu shares this information with the others, and Tamori says that the ability might be something so dangerous that it also affects the user themselves. Ayumi disagrees and says she will get bored staying home when she is no longer sick and wants to go to school. However, Yu refuses and insists that she must stay home no matter what. Meanwhile, Yu is at school sitting with Jujuru and talking about Tamori, saying that she is actually a much more careful and detailed planner than he had given her credit for, where she informs them that Ayumi has gone to school despite being told to stay home, believing that Ayumi stole him from her. In her anger, she pulls out a blade and walks toward Ayumi. Ayumi unconsciously uses her power and causes the surrounding area to collapse. However, the collapse also traps Ayumi underneath the ruined structure. Yu wakes up in the hospital and immediately starts looking for his sister, but the doctor sadly informs him that she has passed away. Later, Yu attends her funeral, where a woman tells him that even though this is a painful loss, Ayumi would have wanted him to keep moving forward with his life. However, Yu is completely overwhelmed by shock and grief. When he returns home, he cannot stop thinking about his sister and eventually breaks down in tears. He begins wondering if he ever properly showed her how much he appreciated everything she did for him, and the regret eats away at him from the inside. As the days pass, Yu turns into a complete shut-in and barely takes care of himself. With no one left to cook for him, he survives on instant ramen and water while spending his time alone in the apartment. One day, his doorbell suddenly rings. When he answers, he finds Jujuru and Yusa standing outside with dinner, asking if he would like to eat with them. However, Yu immediately refuses their offer and walks away, leaving both of them worried about his condition. Moments later, Misa takes over Yusa's body, throws the cream stew she brought onto the ground in frustration, and orders Jujuru to use his power to break through the door. Jujuru explains that he can easily smash through reinforced glass with his ability, but a door like this is a different story. It turns out that the apartment door is specially built and much stronger than a normal one because of the building's security measure. The next day, a girl arrives at Yu's apartment together with a security guard. She reminds him that he once saved her life and introduces herself as Yumi. Yumi asks if there is anything she can do for him, but Yu immediately turns down her offer and tells her to leave. She even suggests going out for pancakes together like they used to, but Yu refuses, saying that instant ramen and pancakes are basically the same when it comes to nutrition anyway. Instead, he tells her to bring him plenty of cup ramen because he has no intention of going outside. Despite this, Yumi keeps trying to convince him to leave the apartment and spend some time with her. Hearing this, Yu suddenly loses his temper and kicks a pile of empty ramen cups toward her, scaring her enough to make her leave. The following day, several men arrive at Yu's apartment and attempt to force him out of the building. Rather than dealing with them directly, Yu uses his ability to escape before they can catch him. After withdrawing some money from an ATM, he boards a train and decides to travel somewhere far away, believing that the constantly soaked collaborator will not be able to track him down there. Yu eventually arrives in a different city, where he enjoys eating pizza for the first time in a long while and spends his nights staying in hotels. After some time, he grows bored of simply staying indoors and decides to explore the city instead. While wandering around, he finds a street food stall and enjoys the food while walking through the streets, thinking that he has not eaten anything this good in a long time. Along the way, he discovers an arcade machine and starts playing it for fun. Before long, Yu becomes completely absorbed in the game and ends up spending most of his money on it, repeatedly playing it day after day as a way to take out all of his frustration. One day, he visits the arcade area and finds two young boys playing for an entire day that makes him furious, and he throws empty food sticks at them. When the thugs try to mess with him after taking him to a nearby empty alley, he uses his powers to make them fight with one another. Yu mercilessly beats all of them and even stabs one of the guys with his food stick before returning back. Later, another thug approaches him on the street, asking if he is the guy who took down Gondu's gang all by himself. Suddenly, even more thugs appear and surround Yu from all directions. Before they can get their hands on him, he uses his power to turn the situation around and threatens the leader by holding a knife dangerously close to his eye. In the end, the thug admits defeat, and from that point on, Yu keeps taking down anyone sent after him, which gives him a strange sense of satisfaction. As time passes, he starts crossing more lines, including stealing someone's phone and getting involved in other reckless activities around the city. However, everything comes to a stop when Tamori suddenly kicks him in the face. Yu is shocked to see her and realizes that she has been following him the entire time. Tamori explains that if she had allowed him to continue down that path, he would have gone too far to come back, which is why she stepped in. She also admits that she regrets not being able to protect Ayumi in time and says that because of that, she plans to stay by his side until he recovers. Yu becomes angry and insists that he does not need her help, but Tamori asks him if he truly wants to keep throwing away his humanity. After hearing that, Yu finally agrees to go with her to Jujuru's house, which is currently empty. Tamori then cooks for him the same meal that Ayumi used to make for him, and it even tastes the same. Tamori reveals that his mother left behind a cooking meal, so he learned from it, and it appeared to be his favorite dish. She even says that Ayumi had been trying to replicate the taste of this recipe ever since his mother left. After that, Yu agrees to join the student council once again. The next day, Yu gets to school and everyone is happy for his return except for the boys who are jealous of him getting all that attention from Yusa. The girls then show up to class telling Yusa that they just pre-ordered her new single, and then, all the boys including Jujuru reveal that they did it as well. Yusa then reveals that she brought the PV they get when they order her new single, Fever Days. At lunch, Jujuru brings you a limited edition lunch from the cafeteria while bleeding himself, and this makes you happy because he really went out of his way to make him feel better. Suddenly, they receive a message from Tamori and eat quickly before running late to the student council. Tamori says that since everyone is gathered together, they might as well watch Yusa's promotional video. Hearing that, Jujuru becomes so excited that he starts showing off his dance moves in front of everyone. After watching it, Tamori comments that the music video was actually pretty good, which makes Yusa extremely happy to hear. Tamori then starts giving scores to different parts of the video, awarding 20 points for the song, 20 points for the outfits, and 30 points for the editing. Later on, Tamori announces that their collaborator will not be coming that day and then reveals a pair of tickets to a concert by Zend, which happens to be her brother's favorite band. Since there are 4 people present, Tamori explains that she only has 2 tickets, and Jujuru quickly realizes that she wants one of them to accompany her to the concert. When Yusa admits that she does not know much about the band or any of their song, Tamori immediately responds by saying that if Yusa's music deserves a score of 100 points, then Zend's music would deserve 1,000,000 points. Since Jujuru is also not interested, he asks Yu about it, which caught him off guard. Having no choice left, he agrees to go watch the concert with Tamori. On his way back home, Yu runs into a red-haired blind woman walking past him while speaking in English. Hearing her voice, Yu suddenly remembers something and stops her. The woman comes closer and asks if he can take her somewhere where she can eat modonyaki. Yu agrees and takes her to a restaurant, thinking that there is no one waiting at home to prepare dinner for him anyway. After some time, the waiter serves their food and asks if they want it grilled. Yu explains that the woman cannot see well, so the staff should prepare it for them. The waiter is surprised and then recognizes her as Sala Shane, the vocalist of Zend. Once they finish eating, Sala asks Yu if something bad has happened to him recently because she can sense it from the way he speaks and breathes. Before Yu can answer, she figures out that he has lost someone very important to him and gently tells him that he can talk about it if he wants to. Later, they sit together at a nearby park, and Yu finally opens up and tells her everything about his sister's death in the accident. Hearing his story, Sala becomes upset about how unfair his fate has been and how he had to go through all of it alone. She says that she will light some incense for his sister as a way of remembering her. Yu takes her back home, where they take a moment to pray for his younger sister, and he even offers her something to drink. He then tells her that there is someone he wants her to meet, since her brother was a big fan of her band. After that, Yu calls Tamori for the first time and tells her that he is currently with Zend's vocalist. However, Tamori does not react with any surprise at all and responds in a very flat way, which disappoints Yu. She says that she already listens to their CDs and goes to their concerts, so meeting the vocalist is not something she is particularly interested in. Yu then returns and tells Sala that the person he wanted her to meet is quite far away. While traveling with her, Yu tries to text his sister that he will not be coming home, but he is suddenly reminded that she has already passed away. Later, when they board the train, Sala says that she is already hungry, and since they are on a train, they decide to eat at a noodle stall near the station. At the restaurant, Sala eats in a way that surprises you. On their way back, you asks her if she is really blind because it didn't look like one when she signed autographs. Sala replies that she is completely blind and it's all because of some issues that she faced. She explains that her dream was to be a rock star, ruler of the stage, but she realized that too late in life, and knew her dream would never come true. The next day, Yu spends time trying on different outfits to figure out which one looks best for his concert outing with Tamori. When he finally arrives at the meeting spot, he finds Tamori already waiting for him, dressed much more nicely than usual. The two then begin heading toward the concert venue, but Tamori explains that she wants to buy some merchandise before the show starts. Yu admits that he did not expect her to be such a devoted fan of the band and comments that she should have met Sala when she had the chance the day before. Eventually, she manages to buy the phone case she has wanted for so long and becomes visibly excited, surprising Yu because he rarely gets to see this cheerful side of her. After that, the two head into the stadium and take their seats to watch the concert live. Sala then begins performing, and her music sends chills through the audience because it is far better than anyone expected. As she continues singing, Yu hears another song and suddenly feels like he has heard it somewhere before. After thinking about it, he realizes that it was playing during a time he spent with his little sister. The song triggers an old memory, and Yu remembers seeing the same elderly man sitting nearby once again. The old man had commented that classical music was truly amazing. Curious, Yu had asked why he kept appearing wherever he went. In response, the old man explained that ideas which challenge accepted beliefs are often mocked and rejected by others. The memory then shifts to the medical center, where Yu tastes one of the meals served there and finds that it tastes more like medicine than actual food. Even so, he tries to remain calm because he fears that if the staff discovers his true power, they will imprison him just as they did with Tamori's brother. A short time later, the same collaborator who had worked with the student council appears at the medical center as well. He informs Yu that he has found someone with telepathy ability and tells him to possess a man with a pompadour hairstyle standing behind and to the right. Yu follows the collaborator's instructions and continues doing exactly as he is told. However, after the collaborator leaves, one of the officers asks Yu whether he learned anything important from him. Yu denies it, and the officer eventually walks away. Ayumi, however, becomes curious and wonders why they are treating that man differently from everyone else. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself alone in a section of the facility that shows signs of having been damaged by an earthquake. Yu desperately tries to escape. Just then, the same elderly man from before appears, badly injured but still able to move. He helps Yu escape from the room and reveals a shocking truth. According to him, the scientists forcibly awakened Ayumi's hidden ability. He explains that her power is called Collapse, an ability capable of causing powerful earthquakes. After that, Yu runs straight towards the center where his sister is being restrained. Yu then overhears some voices, and when he looks inside a room, just then, a blonde-haired boy arrives at the perfect moment and gives Yu his phasing ability so that he can escape and save the others. Using that power, Yu rushes inside as quickly as possible and uses his ability to destroy the restraints that are holding his brother captive. After that, Yu suddenly wakes up back in the present. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself lying in a hospital bed with Tamori sitting right beside him. She is relieved but also shaken to see him finally wake up. At that moment, the collaborator arrives at the hospital looking much healthier than before. Yu immediately recognizes him as someone who also appeared in the memories he experienced and asks whether he knows anything about his brother. Later that night, the group travels to a mysterious laboratory that studies supernatural abilities. Once they arrive, Yu is taken to a room where he comes face to face with his brother. Seeing him standing there with his own eyes, you can hardly believe that it is really true. Shinsuke then uses his time travel ability to go back to a point when Ayumi is only 8 years old, meaning they now have about 3 years before the scientists eventually catch up to them. After arriving in the past, he meets up with Kumagami and the others, as they had already agreed to work together in this timeline as well. Kumagami soon appears, and Shinsuke immediately jumps toward him, asking if he knows what his ability is. At this point, Kumagami has already gathered a small group of people with special powers, so Shinsuke follows him and meets the rest of the group, everything going according to plan. Shinsuke then introduces the members one by one. He first mentions Shirchino, who has the ability to phase through solid objects. Next is Madoki, whose power is hypnotism, allowing her to make people fall asleep, although she also falls asleep as a side effect. Lastly, there is Midamori, who can erase people's memories with very precise accuracy, but only if he maintains physical contact for a long time while searching through those memories. Midoki then asks him what did he come from the future to see them for, and he explains that he relayed the cruel end that befell all the people with powers in the future. He also explains that from now on they are going to gather everyone with powers and protect one another, slowly building a society for people like them. In the end, they were just a group of kids, and they were never truly able to save themselves on their own. However, things would often get worse whenever someone acted recklessly and attacked the researchers in an attempt to save a comrade. One day, Shinsuke suggests that they should try asking adults for help instead. Kumagami also mentions that he knows a few people who previously had powers themselves. Around that time, Shinsuke finds a lottery ticket worth 600 million, and he believes that kind of money would easily be enough to convince adults to support them. The next day, Shinsuke announces his plan to raise funds by using his ability to go back in time and collect information about things like horse races and lottery results. After that, he says he will gather everyone again and build an organization that the scientists will not be able to oppose. The morning after his time leap, Shinsuke noticed something while looking in the mirror. From there, they added more members to their ranks and laid out a plan to raise the money they needed. Time goes by, Shinsuke and the others are now grown a lot, and he is worried about when he can get to a place where Ayumi and you can be safe. It turns out, due to each time leap, Shinsuke's vision gets worse, so if he uses one more leap, he will be completely blind. Shinsuke says that he will build a school because they need a safe place to protect themselves until their powers eventually disappear, and he believes a school is the best option for that. After making his final time leap, he loses his eyesight as a consequence. One day, he tells Kumagami to erase all the memories that Yu and Ayumi have of him. He also instructs Kumagami to build similar schools across Japan so more people with abilities can be kept safe, but Kumagami warns that if he does that, people will eventually start recognizing him. To solve this, Shinsuke tells him to hide his face using his hair and splash cold water on himself, so he looks different enough to avoid attention. That night, Midoki uses her hypnotism ability to erase the memories of both Ayumi and Yu. In the present, Shinsuke explains that they now need to save Ayumi, and to do that, you must use his ability Plunder to steal time-leaping powers. Shinsuke then reveals that Yu's true ability is to steal other people's powers, and Tamori mentions that Kumagami had already told her this before they even met. Tamori then adds that after carefully observing Yu, they realized they had misunderstood the nature of his ability all along, as it was not just possession, but actually the act of taking other people's powers entirely. Shinsuke then tells him to steal his powers, and when he gets back, he should steal the precarious power of collapse from Ayumi. After stealing the powers, Yu goes back in time where he wakes up beside Ayumi, who is still sick. At school, Kumagami reveals that their next target is someone with collapse ability, and Yu quickly says that it's his sister who is in the apartments right now. When they get home to check on her, Yu finds the same girl who made Ayumi go through all this. Once they check on her, Yu asks Tamori if she would believe him if he said he came from the future. Surprisingly, Tamori replies that she would, because he is the kind of person who would do anything for Ayumi. After that, Yu explains everything to her, from Ayumi's death in the original timeline, to his depression afterward, and how Tamori was the one who eventually pulled him out of it. When Yu goes inside, he uses his ability to steal Ayumi's collapse power. The next day, Yu drops Ayumi off at school, but he notices Tamori and the others waiting outside. At school, everyone tries to disguise themselves as middle school students to protect Ayumi, but they fail badly when people immediately recognize Yusa anyway. Meanwhile, the same girl who previously tried to attack Ayumi with a cutter comes after her again. In that moment, Yu appears and uses his powers to save Ayumi just in time. On the way back, Yu feels relieved and happy that he managed to protect her, thinking that he will never lose her again. After that, Yu and Ayumi visit Shinsuke at a lab, and Ayumi has no idea who he is since her memories got erased. Shinsuke tells her that for some reason, he had her memories of him erased, and she gets even more surprised when she hears Yu calling him his older brother. Shinsuke tells Yu that he finally awakened to his power of plunder and used it knowingly, and that's the reason why he called him here and Ayumi to come here. Yu then explains the entire situation to him, like how he uses his time-leaping ability, and asks if he can come live with them now. Shinsuke says that since he has the ability to steal any power, and he even has the power to time-leap within him right now. Shinsuke explains that there are countless groups that would love to have his power, and they can't afford to have him live as he has been, so he will stay with them until his power disappears. You get surprised to hear that he is going to stay with them in this research facility that they created to study these supernatural powers. After that, Shinsuke shows him around, and the old man who saved you before is the head of their research staff. The old man tells them that this is a lab where they are developing a vaccine to prevent another outbreak of his illness. He further explains that his supernatural powers are an illness, and they want to be able to vaccinate every person on Earth before the dust falls again. The old man then explains the truth about Charlotte, a comet that passes near Earth once every 75 years. When it comes close, a mysterious dust spreads across the planet, and anyone who breathes it can develop special abilities once they reach a highly emotional stage in life. After the comet passed 12 years ago, people with powers started appearing again. Yu feels relieved at first when he hears that a vaccine is being developed to keep everyone safe, believing that nothing else will go wrong now. However, Shinsuke explains that this protection will only apply to people under their control in Japan, not everyone in the world. After that, Yu asks Shinsuke to restore Ayumi's memories of him. Shinsuke responds that this is impossible, and says he does not understand why Yu's memories returned either, adding that it is not something they can fix. Later, Shinsuke introduces Madoki and the others to Ayumi, telling her that she will not be able to see her school friends for a while, but these people will become her new friends instead. After hearing this, the group shows their abilities to Ayumi, and she becomes impressed, finding it exciting and happily spending time with them. Madoki then asks you to play a game with her since she feels left out and wants to be included as well. Later, Kumagami gets into a car and asks the driver to take him to Star Ocean Academy, but the driver suddenly changes route and says that his family has been threatened. He takes Kumagami to a factory where a large, powerful man beats him badly and then ties him to a chair. The men there demand that Kumagami reveal information about all the ability users he has been hiding, but Kumagami refuses to speak even after being brutally attacked. They inject him with something, and he starts to wonder whether he accidentally told them everything while losing consciousness. That night, the same man breaks into Tamori's house and kidnaps her. Later, Shinsuke receives a phone call, and the caller claims that Kumagami has already revealed information about the most powerful ability user in the country. The caller then demands you in exchange, saying that since they already have Tamori and Kumagami, they can trade them for him. Later, Shinsuke sits with Madoki and the others, and one of them suggests that they should send you, since if the others have powers, he would be able to steal them. After that, Yu arrives, and Shinsuke explains everything to him. He tells you that he needs to go and plunder all of their abilities and make them drop their weapons, but warns that if he gets captured, Tamori and Kumagami's lives will be in danger. Hearing this, Yu panics and says that this is not something one person can handle, especially someone as useless as him. Before you can activate Ayumi's collapse ability, Shinsuke calms him down and tells him to think carefully. Thinking about Tamori, Yu promises himself that he will protect her no matter what happens. After that, Furuki takes you to the same old factory, where you find two unarmed people waiting. Suddenly, a girl appears and uses her ability to slash one of Yu's eyes, making it harder for him to return to the past. Yu tries to activate the collapse power, but the attackers warn him that if he does, the two people in the basement will be killed. Even so, Yu chooses to fight back using another ability, but the girl keeps attacking him and stabs him repeatedly until the entire factory starts falling apart around them. After the whole factory collapses, Shinsuke and the others arrive and find you along with the two main attackers and another girl. It is revealed that you managed to save himself at the last second using telekinesis, but Kumagami cannot be saved because he sacrificed his life to protect Tamori. Shinsuke loses control of his emotions and breaks down crying as he holds Kumagami, unable to accept that he has died right in front of him. 2 days later, he wakes up in hospital and thinks about the girl who beat him up, which scares him, and he attempts to trigger his collapse ability. One of the boys then injects him to calm him down and states that 2 days have passed since his surgery. Yu then asks Madoki and the others about Tamori, and they respond that she is perfectly fine. Madoki tells you that Kumagami saved Tamori, which makes you happy before he asks about Kumagami's condition. However, he learns that Kumagami has died, and one of the boys explains it was because he only used his ability to save himself. Madoki explains to you that they were mistaken in thinking they needed him for his time-leaping power and believed they could stop his collapse by using hostages. Yu then asks if this will keep happening, and Madoki replies that Midamori erased those people's memories, but more may still come after him. Before they leave, Yu asks about his brother, which causes the yellow-haired boy to become very angry, leaving you confused. The situation leaves him puzzled and uneasy about what will happen next. Midoki explains that Kumagami is his brother's closest and most trusted friend. After that, they hold Kumagami's funeral, which becomes a sad moment for everyone involved. During this time, Ayumi comes to visit you in the hospital and is shocked when she learns that he has lost vision in his right eye after everything that has happened. You quietly thinks that he will never forget the feeling of losing Ayumi before, but he also wonders how Ayumi would have felt if he had been the one who died back there instead. The next day, Jujuru visits you in the hospital carrying beef tongue curry from their past memories, and you cannot control his excitement the moment he sees it. Jujuru carefully helps him eat the meal properly so he can manage it while recovering in bed. After you finishes eating, he asks about Tamori, and Jujuru explains that her injuries are not too serious, so she should be discharged soon. After some time passes, Yusa also arrives and brings cream stew, saying that it can help heal many kinds of wounds and injuries. Once you finishes his food, he asks about Misa, and right at that moment Misa appears in front of him. She immediately asks him what he wants from a dead person, which creates a tense and confusing mood in the room. You then asks her where do people go when they die, but she says that she is like a balloon in Yusa's hand and when her power disappears, she will just float off into the sky. You then asks her why she is not going to see the people she loved before it's too late, and she wonders why he is bringing that up now. You explains that he had a close encounter with death, so he doesn't know when he is really going to die. Misa then explains that she wasn't a good daughter as Yusa is, and the worst thing she has done is die on them. When Yusa appears, you asks her about her parents who run a soba bar up in the mountains of Nagano Prefecture. You tells her to go see them soon and forces her to go right now, and she runs out of the room. That evening, you pushes himself to get up and walk toward Tamori's hospital room because he wants to check on her condition, but when he reaches near the door he hesitates and instead of knocking, turns around and goes back to his own room. Later, he ends up watching Yusa on television, where a documentary is being shown about her parents, who run a restaurant. You feels genuinely happy for her since she finally meets her parents after such a long time and is able to spend real, enjoyable moments with them, like sharing meals together and feeling like a family again. Suddenly, Misa's soul takes control and enters Yusa's body, and she begins crying while commenting that the food tastes really good. During this moment, Yusa's parents become confused and end up thinking that Yusa is actually Misa for a short time, which creates a strange situation for everyone involved. A few days later, Ayumi comes to the hospital to tell you that it is his 16th birthday. She also brings him a homemade dish with pizza sauce, because that is what she usually prepares for him on this day. Seeing it makes you think back to the times when Ayumi used to always make the same dish for him every year, which brings up old memories. You taste the food and feels that it tastes exactly the same as before, and he starts wondering whether the secret ingredient Misa once mentioned is actually included in it. After that, Yusa's recovery begins to improve even faster through his rehabilitation sessions, and he steadily gets stronger day by day. In the end, he finally decides that he is ready to meet his brother again. You notices that his brother is acting like how he was back then. Shunsuke explains that groups in other countries are becoming more active and that it will not be long before their activities reach Japan as well. After hearing this, he returns to his hospital room, where he is surprised to find Tamori already waiting for him. Seeing her there catches him completely off guard. Tamori then asks whether his brother told him anything important. Yu explains that his brother warned him that foreign organizations will eventually bring their operations to Japan too. He also admits that more people may come after him in the near future because of his ability, and he does not want to lose anyone else or watch his friends suffer because of him. Tamori tells him that there is only one possible solution to the problem. She explains that his brother's laboratory has created a vaccine for when the comet returns in the future. Because of that, Yu's job will be to use his ability to steal the powers of every person in the world who currently possesses one, as well as the abilities of anyone who develops powers in the future. In that way, no one will be able to misuse those abilities or become a threat to others. Before leaving the room, Tamori prepares to say goodbye, but Yu stops her and finally confesses his feelings. Tamori accepts his confession and tells him that she will wait for his return. She explains that once everything is over and he comes back safely, the two of them can officially become a couple. That night, Yu meets his brother and tells him everything about his plan that he is going to plunder from every power user in the world to save them. The next day, Misa and Jujuru tell you that he should take their powers as well, and once he does, Jujuru tells Yusa that her sister left behind a letter for her. Moving forward, Yu arrives in the Philippines where the security asks his purpose of visit, and he replies that he is here for some sightseeing. When he enters the country, he needs someone with a searching ability, and using his powers he sits in one of the cars to meet an ability user. The ability user then shows up and you steals his power and threatens him in English. The guy tries to use his ability to read Yusa's mind, but he can't since you already stole his ability. You then asks him where he can find someone who can search for power users for him. You uses his ability to steal that guy's ability and goes back home. After that, he begins tracking down ability users across the country and successfully steals their powers one by one. Once he finishes there, he travels to a country in Africa and continues taking the abilities of the power users he finds. After removing all the powers from the people there, he heads to Egypt and steals abilities from more users, even though some of them are clearly frightened by his presence and what he is capable of doing. After completing his mission in another country, Yu calls his brother and reports that he has finished plundering everyone's abilities there. He explains that some of the powers he has taken are already helping him with one ability, allowing him to understand and translate different languages. His brother warns him not to push himself too hard and reminds him that he only has until his own ability disappears to complete the task. The following day, Yu notices another cluster of power users gathered in a single location and decides to investigate. When he secretly looks into the area, he discovers a group of people forcing children to fight each other. As he watches the disturbing scene, after that, Yu manages to capture one of the children and questions him about the true purpose of the camp. Although the boy refuses to say anything, making them carriers of the disease. Realizing what this means, Yu decides to use an ability that worsens illnesses in order to force their powers to awaken. Soon afterward, Yu travels to eastern India, where he is suddenly attacked by someone firing bullets at him. Once his work there is complete, he heads to Peru and encounters a person with a healing ability who is using their power to help others. In the end, he rejects the idea, believing that he should not change the past or alter anything further. In his confused state, he even attacks someone after mistakenly believing that person is an enemy. When he wakes up, he sees reports of destruction on television and begins questioning whether he has lost control of himself and done something terrible. Yu gradually begins losing his memories and even starts forgetting important people, including Tamori. He continues traveling from country to country, stealing abilities from power users around the world while enduring extreme stress, exhaustion, and the effects of severe sleep deprivation. While searching for the target, a man suddenly attempts to attack him, but a young girl appears nearby. Even then, the man fires an arrow at the girl without hesitation. Despite his exhausted condition, Yu uses his powers to stop the attack and protect her from being harmed. As he acquires her power, he realizes that it is the ability of courage itself, a trait that is incredibly important for anyone to possess. After taking a few steps, he can no longer keep going and collapses onto the ground. Seeing this, the armed man believes he finally has the perfect opportunity to kill Yu. A helicopter suddenly arrives at the scene and interrupts him. When Yu finally wakes up, he finds himself lying in a hospital bed back in Japan with Tamori sitting beside him. However, Yu looks at her in confusion and asks who he is. Tamori understands that the journey has taken a heavy toll on his brain. Even so, Tamori stays by his side and gently tells him that she is his girlfriend. How long do you think it will take you to recover his lost memories and fully return to the person he once was? Comment Charlotte if you'd like a part 2 of this series. As usual, thank you for tuning in and we'll catch him in the next one.